Hello everyone.
Welcome back to another live. I know it's going to be a few minutes before everybody starts joining in. So we wanted to say hello to everybody. Thank you for showing up on our lives today. Today is an exciting live. We get the other two girls to come on. And so we're going to be asking them to join us shortly. So if you have any questions or anything like that, please don't hesitate to put it in the chat. So we are so excited. So we're going to go ahead and invite them in. You ready to invite them?
Yes. Let me see. Take it easy with us. This is our first time doing this. All right.
We're going to definitely invite the girls.
Okay.
All right. Girl. I think we just invited them. So let's see. I think it was gonna be.
This is so easy when people be going on live.
I know.
It's like click on a.
Rebecca's watching already. So Priscilla
Why are you guys
is
declining?
watching.
Let's
She's
try
gonna
this
ask
again.
her again.
So we're going to Rebecca's phone. Priscilla's. Priscilla or Rebecca?
Priscilla.
All right, here we go again.
Oh, there's 4 eyes on us, so I don't know who are the 4 eyes. I don't know. Say hello, people. It's probably
Okay, they're adding. They're coming.
You want to know the funny thing about this whole video, that the 4 people that are on right now, now it's 5. It might have just been those 4. Hello. Turn yourself around.
Oh no, yeah.
You might want to turn your cameras around because you guys are sideways.
Wait, like.
So there you go. Oh,
there we go. Can you see us? Can you hear us?
I can't hear them.
We can't hear you guys.
Is your volume? Oh, there you go.
You hear me? No? Is it pressing on the volume? No. Because the volume's up top. Hey.
This is funny.
Hello, everyone coming in. We're sorry, we're figuring this out.
Because we can't hear the girls.
Do we have to do something here?
Hello. I don't think so.
No, look, the mic is there.
Yeah.
Can you guys check if you guys are on mute? We're not.
They're not.
No. We're gonna get off and get back on.
Okay.
What she said?
They're gonna come off and come back in. Could invite them again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see
this again. I'm gonna look from my phone the comments because I can't see everything.
Sorry guys, we're just trying to get the girls back on the live.
Adaris?
Idaris.
Wow. You guys are on here. Cool. Seeing everybody.
I think because she was requesting
us. Bernard, David.
Hi.
For coming on. She said audio is good. We can hear very well. So you can hear the girls. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear the girls when they're talking, because we can't hear them. Oh, man. We can't hear them. Girls, can you say something?
Hi. Hello.
Priscilla.
Oh my God, this is a mess.
Say something.
I don't know how we can hear you.
Hi. Oh, see, I can hear you here, but we can't hear you from the Facebook. That's okay, girl.
You can hear them. People.
There you go. I hear you on my phone. I don't hear you on the Facebook, but that's okay. At least we can hear.
Can
you.
Everybody hear them though?
Yeah, everybody said.
Hi, everybody. Okay. Kayla says she can hear us. So we should be.
Yeah, everybody can.
That'd be like a rebound from heat for people and stuff. No, they should be able to hear them.
They said they can hear them fine.
Okay. But then we'll know if we answered the questions or not.
Cool.
Them, because
Yeah,
they can hear us.
Damaris can hear us from her phone. Oh. We're shutting us off.
All right. Well, I'm so happy you guys are joining us today.
Thank you.
So, Kayla. Thank you for making the time, girls. Thank you for making the time to talk to us today. And It's going to be fun. We're going to talk about a couple of things.
Can you hear it? We actually tried this before we got on screen and it worked perfectly fine.
And it works.
Exactly. I just feel like that I can't hear you guys, and I think this is gonna be a rebound, no, of our voices in this, like echo.
Can they hear the echo when they're listening to us? Everybody?
Can you guys, the people that are online, can you guys hear like an echo, or we just want to give the best?
We hear us talking to each other, but. Ooh, there we go. Is that better?
Mm-hmm. Because how are we gonna be able to speak back and forth?
We're gonna have to listen to them through here because we can't listen to them.
All right. Okay, let's get this going then. If they can hear us fine, then I guess we're good.
This is better. There we go. We're not down here trying to see what y'all people doing.
Okay. All right, let's go.
All right, so I'm so happy that you guys are joining us today. And so what we're doing is that we wanted to bring our sisters on. We did a pod.
Look, they're mute here. They're mute.
They are, but not us.
She mute us. Oh my God. So confused.
No, yours look like it's on mute. It tells us that you're on mute.
She said.
I don't know what she said. Give me 1 second.
No, we're not on mute.
Yeah, it's not coming up that it's on mute.
Yours is coming up as mute. Is that okay? You guys meant to do that? But we can't hear y'all. It's on mute. Look at your mic in the left. You see, it still looks, theirs look like they're muted. I can't even hear them through there.
Yeah, I can't hear you through this way because I have you on my phone and I can't hear you guys. I could hear you before, but I can't hear you now.
What about now? I muted it.
Okay. So maybe it's just delayed.
You hear us now?
Now. Now we can hear you.
Yay! I think from there, from that phone, we can hear you. I don't understand why we can't hear you from here. But okay, as long as we can hear each other. That's okay. It gave people time to get on.
Yes. So, oh yeah, absolutely. It gave everybody to
welcome,
come on.
welcome.
Yep. So this is us trying to collaborate with our other sisters that are in Boston. Whoever doesn't know, we're in Florida, they're in Boston. And what we're trying to do is be able to continue a little bit of our bonding about our sisters and our dynamic. And Sarah and I did like a little pod before where we were talking about our dynamics. And so we talked a little bit about Priscilla and Rebecca. They weren't here to defend themselves. So we took liberties. Well, I took liberties. I'll take responsibility. I took liberties in talking on their behalf, at least from our perspective, what we think of them and things of that nature. But we wanted to give Rebecca and Priscilla the opportunity to talk about their dynamic because they're together a lot of the time. So the first question I would say is from Priscilla to Rebecca. How do you describe Rebecca as a person? As a person, question. Let's make it fun.
Okay. Well, hi everyone. I hope you guys are having a great Sunday so far. So like they said, I'm Priscilla. I'm the baby of the four sisters. How do I describe my second oldest sister? We do spend a lot of time together, a lot of time. We actually work together as well, so there's a lot of time spent. But she's very spunky, a whole lot of energy, too much sometimes. Well, for my liking. And she's very thoughtful, very caring, very motherly. She has stepped in to be a mother figure to me because, you know, my oldest sister, the oldest is not near me. So I think that she's stepped into like that caring and nurturing role that everyone needs in their life. So I think that that's, in a nutshell, she has a lot of energy.
That's it? Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Like,
I was waiting for more. I'm kidding.
Now, what do you think? How would you describe her with her conflict resolution? What's your perspective of how she does that?
I think we were just talking about this today. Like, she has changed a lot and she has grown a lot. And so with that, she, I think, is still learning herself. But I think that her intentions are always good, to want to resolve things. She always wants to resolve things. She doesn't like having bad energy or ill will with anyone. So she always tries her best to like try to figure out what the problem was. She does take accountability when she does something that she thinks that was wrong or wasn't appropriate at the time. So that's a big characteristic because a lot of people do not take accountability for what they do. So I think that she's still working through learning how to resolve conflict with multiple different relationships, right? With me, I think it's easy because I really don't sweat the small stuff. I kind of like, it's Rebecca, it's whatever. She'll get over it and we'll get back to normal. But I think that with other people, she's still learning to have conflict resolution, but still be herself and be true to what she meant or said at the moment.
Yeah. So with that being said, it is funny because you can tell the dynamic, right? Like Priscilla's personality is like more like she's a mom or is trying to tell people, you know what I'm saying? Like her energy, can y'all feel her energy through the camera? So I love the fact that even as a young sister, she's able to point out these things of her older sisters, but also she's learning from those things as well. So now it's Becky's turn. How would you describe your dynamic with Priscilla?
Well, hi, I'm Rebecca, and I'm the second of the four sisters. Hey, everybody. How you guys doing? Celeste, I seen you. Being the second sister and also as you guys have heard in the podcast, Damaris's story as the oldest sister and her coming back into our lives in a bigger way. You guys kind of heard her past and the things she's gone through. So at that time, I kind of took that place of the bigger sister as the older sister. But then at the same time, Priscilla has always been a very strong person. And when certain things happen in my life, like divorce and certain things happen in my life, Priscilla has been that person for me. She's been giving not only of her time, but in every way she can give, she has done that. She also has been a second mom to my daughters and my son also, but my son lives in Florida, so it hasn't been that close in that sense physically. But she knows I know I can count on her for anything. I know that I can count on her to tell me the truth, the hard, solid, raw truth. And that's why sometimes I don't talk to her and tell her things because I don't want to hear it. But I know, again, in our friends group, that's what we all say. Like, Priscilla, if you want to know what it is and don't want around the bush, talk to Priscilla. But again, she does it with all good, great intention. But she also is careful with me. And I appreciate that she is sensitive to what the journey I am in right now in life. I'm 47 years old, but I think my last 2 years of my life has been huge for me because yes, I've changed in different ways. I was always a very yes person, always just kind of went with the flow, didn't really always say what I thought about things, just wanted to make everybody else happy. And in the last 2 years, I found my voice. I found that I know I have feelings and that I can go through them, and it's okay to be upset. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry. But when you don't do that forever in your life and then you start doing it, it takes you kind of out of control. So Priscilla has learned and she has shown me and has been sensitive to that. Sometimes I may say something and it's not in the way I should say it, but Priscilla just, like, I know when I say something wrong because she's like, she stops. So I know that I already said something to maybe make her feel some type of way. And like she said, I don't like feeling, again, I'm answering your second question now. Conflict resolution for me and for anybody is that I want to deal with it. I do not want to feel like I made you feel some type of way. I don't want to avoid conversations because that's what I've done my whole life. Avoid hard conversations because I either don't want to hurt you with what I'm saying, or I don't want you to hurt me with what you're saying, even if you're being careful. I'm very sensitive. So I think that as a sister, she's been with me and for me in so many ways, and for my children. My kids literally call her second mom because she has done that for us. Again, she is loved. She's respected everywhere we go. Like, we work together, and it's even in our job, we have that yin and yang. Like, kids are like, why you not like her? She's like, because I am who I am. And the kids love that about that. We're both just, we are who we are, and we're not apologetic about it because we want to show them that we need to be who we are. So this is kind of in a little thing what I think about my sister. And our conflict resolution, all in one. Next. Oh, and she loved being around me. So I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram, but I record sometimes in the morning, and people really ask for it to come back because of her. Because she's so nonchalant and doesn't want to be bothered that I still bother her, and that helps us through the day.
Oh my goodness. So you guys can
That's
tell.
the dynamic.
Those are dynamics. And so I wanted you guys to have an idea of a little bit on a regular basis how we are. Now, when we're all together, I can say, and maybe the girls can say too, we can be very loud because we believe that we're the only people in the space, and we all have maybe sometimes 2 to 3 to 4 conversations all at the same time, and we're hitting each other and yelling at each other, and people must be like, oh my God, are they arguing? They're gonna get in a fight? No, we're just enjoying ourselves so much and so excited to be around each other. So that is, if you ever experience all of us together, it's a hoot.
Talk over each other.
Take a seat and just get some popcorn and just watch it. It's a lot of fun.
We want to take the minute to say thank you guys for tuning in.
Yes.
People that are coming in.
Yes.
And you guys are more than welcome to ask any questions that you guys may want to ask us. And thank you so much. God bless everybody.
Yes, thank you so much. God bless you guys. So we just wanted to come on here and share a little bit about ourselves and what we're up to and everything. But before we do all that, I am someone that likes to give people their flowers and likes to let people know how they are in my life. And I tell this to them all the time. I always tell Rebecca, I appreciate that she became the rock for the family when everything was going on when I was MIA. But in the same token, I always thought about it like this, like the prodigal son, right? Like you leave and then you come back. And even though I didn't not have communication with my family, I did. However, I was going through my own things in a different state. So I took it upon myself to like remove myself, but it was because of the lie of the enemy that was just saying a lot of stuff in my head. So when our parents passed away, I got closer and closer to the girls. And then as the time has gone on and I've been healed and everything like that, I'm able to be vulnerable. I'm able to say, I'm sorry. I'm able to go and be like, hey, I apologize because I wasn't there for this reason. I want to do better. I want to be a better sister. I want to be all these things. And so I'm just very grateful that they have always been just genuine and like, we love you. Like, I talked to Priscilla about that. She's like, I don't even know why. It wasn't like a thing like you disappeared or anything like that, or left the family or anything. But in my heart, I just felt like there was a place that I was supposed to hold and I didn't. And I shortchanged my sisters in some areas when they were growing up. And so I always wanted, like, now I just want to like overdo it. Like, if I could just do it all over again, I'm going to do everything and anything I can. So Becky.
Just because I want to go off what you're saying so I don't forget later. And I think it's important because, like you said, you removed yourself because of whatever was happening in your life at that time, and you felt like you shortchanged or you weren't in the place or you didn't do what you needed to do. But he has you where he has you now because you're doing what you need to do, and through that you're healing us. Through that you're helping us. Through that the things you think you should have taught us because you were the older sister in ministry or just being a sister, and you didn't have the chance to do that. You are doing it now as an older sister, but you're doing it now as a healed woman, strong woman that has gone to hell and back. And now you can help us through what we're going through because now we're at different stages of our lives. So you might have lost some time there, but you are definitely making it up now with all of us.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I agree on that. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a great dynamic. Let me tell you something. I am going to tell people that sometimes you might have strife with your family or your sisters and stuff like that. And sometimes you just need to take some time to like get healed and then come to that person without any expectation, but come as a healed person. You may be the beginning of the healing process, right? Or for you to be like, okay, I got my safety back, my circle back. And so I am so excited that you guys came on here today. Now we're gonna reverse it a little bit and you guys talk about me and Missy over here and what y'all think about us.
What are they gonna say?
They're gonna say some stuff. I wanna know their perspective of who we are.
I'll go first just because I'm pretty straightforward. I'm not gonna talk too long. And I like to get over, things over with. So I did, in the last pod, you guys were talking about each other, and I agree a lot with each of you about each other, right? So Damaris had mentioned that I was very sensitive, and that she's very giving. All those things are very, very true. She is very sensitive. I think out of all of us, she's the most sensitive, and then Rebecca's like the second one. I think me and Damaris are like, get over it, stop crying. Let's move on. But they they are very sensitive, but that is a gift that not a lot of people have, because there are very cool people in the world, people that don't care about others, and to have that sensibility with everything that you guys have gone through individually is really important and really needed, at least in the sister circle. So Sarah is like, we have, especially me, because I am straightforward, I have to be very, very like careful and like recite what I'm gonna say in my head a few times before I say something to her, because I don't want to hurt her feelings. My intentions are never to hurt her feelings. But I know that sometimes I'm too straightforward and it could be, harsh, So yeah, giving, loving, a great mom. She's doing a great job with Junior. And to us, I think that, like, again, she's like, we used to say that she was adopted, but it's because we all each have a very strong features from our mom and my dad, and she has a good mixture of both of them. And she's very different from a lot, like us. She's like very like I don't know what,
Very demure.
Very demure. So yeah, so we used to bother her and say that about her, but again, I think it's a balance that she brings into our sisterhood. And then for Damaris, um, again, straightforward, firm, knows. I think in this part of her life, she knows what she wants. She knows how to get it, and she's very straightforward. Very motherly, very loving. Um, I always go back to this memory of when I had my daughter. She came down for about 2 weeks and stayed with me. All my sisters, they all came. Sarah came, I think, a week before she left, so we were all together at some point, which is very rare that we're all together at the same time. But she came and she was like, you go take a nap, give me, pump the milk, and I'll take over at night. And it was like such a blessing because, a lot of moms don't get that, especially in the first couple of weeks of having the baby. It's like, when they tell you to sleep with the baby, take a nap with the baby, that's not always true or even realistic. Mm-hmm. So the fact that she was like, don't worry, at least for the night shift, I'll take over. She slept in the room with my baby, like in the air mattress or like somewhere on the floor where my baby was in the mattress. In her crib. So, those motherly instincts, even though her kids are huge and big and adults, she still has, and I appreciate it because we don't have mom anymore. So to have those moments of still having that nurturing, loving feeling of a mom, I'm very appreciative. So I'm sure there's a whole bunch more to say about you guys, but I can't really think right now.
I will say, I'll start with Sara. And Sarai says Sarai. Your name is Sara, honey. See, that's why she thinks we pick on her, because probably we do sometimes. But that's okay, because I feel like I'm picked on. And it's funny because I think me and Sarah are the middle girls. And I think sometimes we are a little, like, we kind of can figure stuff out. We could, that's not the word I was relate to certain things, right? But Sarah, Sarah is a very, she's very sensitive, but she's very quiet, but she's very powerful. Mm-hmm. What I could say about Sarah that I think is that in church and in the ministry, I think that was a comfort place for her. I felt like she liked being in ministry, what she was doing. She was very involved with the youth. She was very involved in doing big events and things like that, besides singing. So I think that was a place where I think she loved to be in. And one of the things I could remember of her is being so outgoing, but because even though she was shy, she didn't like to be like in the spotlight. She was so, like, in those spaces, she was so powerful in my eyes. And I was younger, and our younger years. And I feel that even if she doesn't have that now, she's still powerful in certain spaces. Like, for example, like, she's a hairdresser besides having her regular job. She also is a hairstylist. And she is an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. And when she puts her mind to do something, she is powerful in it. And even with her clients, like when she talks about certain, experiences she has with her clients, she's still doing God's work. No matter what anybody wants to say, she's still ministering to people when she's doing their hairs. And we don't understand that, oh, maybe she needs to be in an altar doing this, or maybe she should be speaking, but that's okay. You figure that out with God. In the moment that she's doing what God needs her to do. And I respect and I honor her for that. And as a mom, as a single mom, I'm so proud of her. Again, not having my parents around, not having a lot of family around. When her son was younger, it was harder. Having Damaris around and having our Aunt Petra and having certain family members that are closer to her now in Florida, I know has helped her. Maybe she can't bring the kid over, but just having conversations and having those adults around her to help her with her son is a blessing. So I'm so proud of who my sister is and how far she has gotten in life. So yes, I'm proud of you, Sarai. You're a go-getter. You're an entrepreneur. You're a child of God through and through. You love people. You pour into people. And that is what we were raised to do. And I think we all do it with love, and we do it because we love doing that. And even if we try and avoid doing it, we end up still doing it. So I love you and I respect you and I honor you, Sarai. Damari, we have definitely also different bonds. And I think we're also alike in a lot of ways. Like, we love to laugh. We're loud. We're funny. And I think we're very, in those areas we're alike. In general, just as sisters, we love to give, we love to love, we love to nurture. Damaris is also that type of person. That's something that I think we also have in common, because Priscilla and Sarah, they do what they need to do, but they ain't people like, oh, come on, let's do this. No, I think me and Damaris are more like that. And there's nothing wrong with that either way. You know, I respect my sister also, and I honor you as our patriarch, as our older sister. Even if you had to move away for a little bit, like I tell you, no love lost. I've always, like, when you try to remind us and tell us, you know, I know I've gone through stuff and I'm sorry, but I've heard it. We're like, where, girl? We're perfectly fine. And again, I don't know if that's just your prayer, you know, but I know that I never felt any ill will towards my sisters. And again, for Damaris is the rock. She brings us back. At least she brings me back to, like, if I need to call somebody and, like, pray for me right now. And I know that I could do that with any of my sisters. And I'm so blessed that we're here and that we're together and that we are able to come on this platform and show that love is real. That even if sometimes people move away from each other, we could still be part of each other, you know, and love each other and respect each other and honor each other.
Yeah, I believe that this pod, I think, came from a place of us wanting to still serve, right? At some type of capacity. We all were in ministry in one way or another. We made impact in person. And I think sometimes there's different things that happen in our walks individually, also as a family. I think it hit hard when we lost our parents, and it was kind of hard to get our footing back. But I think that God has done an amazing job because we've said yes. God, just use us, and God has used each and every one of us in different areas of our lives to still minister to people, to still bring the gospel, but also to be able to show people love, right? Because one of the things that our parents' ministry was of service, right? We were always of service to people. We always showed everybody, even the destitute or people that had it together, people that didn't have it together, we all helped to show them that God's love. And that's part of what God asked us to do. And so we want to just encourage everybody to continue to do God's work, right? We don't need to be in a pulpit on a day-to-day basis. Just in your life, show somebody who God is, right? And be of service to them. So this is very exciting. We have a couple of questions that we kind of wrote down. Me and Sarah have not talked about the questions, so we'll probably get a little feedback from each other as well. There is a little bit of a delay between us talking and receiving, just because we're listening from a different phone. So there's a little bit of a delay, but thank you for your patience. We're so happy that you guys are joining us today. Hopefully in the future, we'll have some more lives. I know we're going to have some of the kids on. We're going to have some of our friends on. So we're so excited about that. But I am going to start with one of the questions on here. And so one of the questions that we asked, or even had a conversation around when we first started talking about doing this pod. And it was, did you ever think that we would be living our life publicly again?
No. Did I want it to be public? No. Did I know it was going to be public at some point? Yes. Yeah. And as soon as you guys started talking about the podcast, I was like, oh, great. They're talking about the podcast. And I know it's your baby, but I was like, they're going to bring us in and they're going to ask us questions. I knew that from the beginning you guys wanted us to be involved, which although I was hesitant, I knew that we are part of your story. So I know we can't avoid that. So, but did I think it was going to happen? I said to myself, maybe like later on in life, but not as of recently.
I would say my boyfriend always says, he's like, you should do a podcast. He always tells me that. I don't like to be in the forefront. I think that's something me and Priscilla also have in common. We will work the hell out of an event, an activity. We will follow directions, do everything, but we do not want to be in the front. We don't want to be recognized, none of that stuff. So for me, as funny as I am right now, it's easy for me because it's with you guys. If it's by myself, I would not be as comfortable. So I believe we're in the public eye all the time because everywhere we go, we're in the public and we're always helping somebody and somebody always comes to us for help. But when it comes to social media, I never thought I would be on social media, honestly.
Yes. For sure. And Sarah?
Yeah, no, I was saying, I always thought that, yes, we were going to be in something in regards to the ministry, either singing or anything. I never thought about a podcast, but I really thought it was going to be something because we know we are destined to do, but I didn't really realize or really vision it like it really was going to happen.
Yeah.
So I did in a way.
Yeah.
I
think just like we're saying, just we're doing it every day, but there's a difference between doing it every day and then putting ourselves back on a display, right? For people that haven't seen us in over 20 something years, right? And so I think that comes with a lot of, at least with me, it was more of, I want to do what God tells me to do. And I know that even if I'm afraid, God is going to be the one that's going to lead it. And so when I tell you that I still sometimes I sit back, I'm like, God, do you think 15 episodes was fine? We don't have to do no more? That's all you wanted us to do? Just put our toes in the water? And God this is me. I have a relationship with God where I think I know what he's thinking. And he's like, okay, whatever you say, keep doing what I'm telling you to do until I tell you different. But I think that this is releasing from us something that has always been there. If nobody, I don't know if people have looked at our logo, it's 4 mics because we did that intentionally. We did that intentionally because there's no us if there's not us 4, right? And you guys, we're our biggest critics, but we're also our biggest supporters, and we are the ones that shield each other and protect each other. And when we have a thought in mind that that even involves you guys or our parents or something, we're going to reach out and be like, hey, this is what we're thinking. What do you think? If y'all say no, we'll be like, okay, I guess it's a no. We move on to the next thing. It hasn't been that way, but you do voice your concern, and that's what sisterhood is. But not only are we sisters, but we're best of friends. Like, we know regardless how we come to each other, we're going to love each other through it and walk each other through that. So I am excited about that. We're going to see if there's another question here. Okay, the other question was, how has forgiveness shown up in our relationship? And it may be a short answer or it may be a long answer because everybody is different. So, girls, how has it shown up?
Again, I don't really hold grudges, and I don't really get mad at people to the extent that I'm like, oh my God, like I'm mad at this person. Wait, thinking about that, I'm lying. I had to say it out loud to see. Wait a minute. That's not always true. I don't hold grudges, but unlike before, now I could stay mad for a little bit. Before, I would not be mad about nothing. That's weird. My sisters be like, girl, you're not mad, or you're going to get mad at some point. I'm like, no, I've always been like, I don't care. I don't care to be upset. I didn't want to feel those feelings, but now that I do feel those feelings, that's why I had to check myself, because I do get angry now, and I didn't get angry before. So me dealing, what was the question again?
Oh,
What was the question again? What was the question again? Oh my God, the marriage, what was the question?
She said, what's the question again? How do you
Oh, forgiveness.
How do you guys forgive? How is forgiveness showing up in you?
Okay, yeah, so this is really what happens every day with me. I really forget stuff. So forgiveness for me is, I don't feel like with my sisters, when it comes to my sisters, it's very easy for me because we have conversations when we're feeling something, the most person that I probably can get into something was with Priscilla because we're closer physically to each other and we see each other every day. We actually work together. So there might be, again, a way that Priscilla might say something to me. And again, Priscilla's the way she speaks sometimes is very like, no, not sometimes, always. She's very stern. So when it comes to me, and because now I feel like I want to have a voice about everything, she might say something to me now and I won't take it the way I used to take it before. Before I'd be like, okay, like I would listen to her. Now it's like, I feel like I have to say, have a comeback. So I'm learning to not to have conversations, but also just listen and take it in. So if I have any issues with anybody, usually it was with her, and it's easy for me to find a way to like resolve it because I don't like to hold stuff, and I'm learning to take accountability when I do something wrong. So more with her, it's not that.
For me, I think it's, again, I don't really take anything really personal. Like, people live their lives, they do things. If it rubs me the wrong way, is because I have to check myself or my relationship with them. But at the end of the day, I don't really, and I don't get too close to people to get hurt. So I have a very, very tight knit of friends, and I have people that know me, and I know people, and I'm friendly with people, but not a lot of those people know intimate details of me in my life. So those core people that do, that I can count with my hands, I do, it does matter to me what they think or what they say, but not to the extent for me to be like, I need to change myself. I can only change myself if I pray and if God is working on me, right? And if I realize that I actually have to change something, not for somebody else, but for myself. But like, I don't hold grudges. Like, I don't, I don't know. I think I try to treat people like I want to be treated. So even if people say that I'm like stern and I'm rough and they know, my close friends know that it's all from love, and I'm either joking because I know that they expect that from me, or I'm telling you the truth because I love you, right? And I think my friends and my family have learned that from me already, that it's nothing that I'm trying to like offend anyone. So I don't know, like, forgiveness, even when Damaris has said like she feels like she's left us or she abandoned us, I never felt that. You know, yeah, communication and distance was in the way, but like no one took her place. So it's like I can't think of a moment that I've had to forgive her or any of my sisters. Um, my parents as well. Like, I think that growing up, you know, you're a teenager, or they do things that offend you in the moment, but now looking back, they were who the best people they could be, right? And they gave us what they were given, and they try to give us a little bit more, which at this point I can't be mad, I can't be resentful for anything that has happened. We had a pretty decent, good life. You know what I mean? Things happen in our lives, but I think that God allowed them for a reason. But at the end of the day, like, you know, there is resentment growing up, but like now that they're not with us, it's like, what's the point of holding on to that, you know? It's not doing me any good, and so I just forgive, you know? So yeah, it's hard to answer that question.
You learn, you learn, you learn. Yeah, and the thing is that you learn from it all. It's funny because if you guys caught that, the dynamic of what Rebecca is, um, um, Sarah always is telling me to like chill out or to reword something or be careful, and Becky does the same thing to Priscilla. So it's funny because I'm the oldest, she's the youngest, but our personalities in certain areas are very much alike, and we have our buffer. So it's crazy how God made it happen that I have my buffer and Priscilla has her buffer. and then it comes to me and Priscilla, and we're the force, like with the girls in certain areas. So like I said, it's a great balance that we have and a great dynamic between all sisters. So Sarah, up to you about forgiveness. Where you stand with forgiveness. What is your point of view on forgiveness?
Forgiveness is very important. Forgiveness is, I think that you can't experience life or love without forgiveness.
Deep.
So I think it's very important to move forward in life, family and friends.
Yeah.
So it's important.
Yeah, it's important. I think forgiveness starts with yourself. I think the minute you
Very
start
much.
forgiving yourself, Sarah always says this, and I love when she always says this, is a lot of these conversations starts in your brain. And we adopt these concepts of how people feel about us when we haven't even had a discussion with them. And so the enemy takes that to really mess with our heads, to isolate us from our families, from our friends. It gives us a false narrative of what the real issue is. So I think one of the things that I can tell other people is, one, forgive yourself. Two, God has already forgiven you. There's nothing that we can't do that God is not going to forgive us. But if we forgive ourselves, that opens us up to have some honest conversations. And I used to tell this to my kids, and I always tell you guys, is even you do the work for yourself, but then when you go to somebody, don't go with expectations, right? You're just going to deliver what you feel. You forgive yourself, you forgive them, whatever the misunderstanding is,
what's right,
what you know, what's right for you, correct. But go without any expectation and just go into that conversation, saying, God, come with me in this conversation. And I have seen some dramatic changes in families because they didn't have an expectation, but they did go with an open heart and with the Holy Spirit and put their heart out there. And some of it was well received, some of it wasn't, but they left and they walked away feeling better because they don't have that burden to carry anymore. And yes, like Priscilla says, being a pastor's kid was a hard thing for us. But I think for all pastors' kids, because there's an expectation put on us, like we're the people that were called to ministry when we weren't. You know what I'm saying? And the perfection, or you can't make a mistake, or you can't do this. We're still kids. We didn't know what the heck we were doing. You know what I'm saying? Even our parents, even though they were older and they were our parents, it was new for them to be ministers. They had not been ministers before. They had different backgrounds. However, I think one of the things that is very close to my heart is pastors' kids, because sometimes they get a bad rap, right? And so to me, or any kid in any ministry, right? Even if your parents sings or whatever, they expect us to be a certain way. And I'm a true believer that everybody needs to have their own encounter with the Lord, right? We instruct our kids into the Word of God, and God will take it from there. And so I think that, did I have resentment? I don't know if I had resentment. I think it was more the legalistic things about it, but I got freed from that when my relationship with the Lord got deeper. Then I can let go of those things because I no longer saw people through that light. I now just see a person,
While you're sitting there, I was thinking about the pastor's kids part, and you said it, so I was like, okay, I need to say something because I was thinking about it. And that's one thing that Damaris has also empowered me to do, that when I feel something, talk about it. Don't keep it, talk about it, because it's there for a purpose. First of all, when you said forgiveness, I just thought about our dynamic. But thinking about my parents, to me, it was very hard. I was very close to my dad. I was not as close to my mom. My sisters were closer to my mom. And as you guys know, my mom passed away first, and then my dad passed away. And not having such a close relationship with my mom, I feel like I tried to do as much as I could before she passed away. And two things. First, children, whether you're a pastor's kid or just a parent, a child to parent, and they're ill and they're sick, don't wait for that time to try to make up and try to create a relationship. Because, God is going to put peace, yes, because si es la voluntad de Dios y Él se la va a llevar, Él va a poner eso en tu corazón. Pero we also need to work, when you're young, you don't know no better. But if you're at an age that you understand, try to reconcile your relationship with your parents while they're alive. Because again, my mom is gone. So she's not feeling what I'm feeling. So, you know, for me, even after their passing, it was hard for me with my mom because I felt like I didn't feel like I gave her, and I didn't feel like she gave me what I needed. Even though I know she offered it, but I was closed off. I don't know why. But with my mom, it was hard for me. And again, my mom was my mom. My mom she loved us, she cared for us, she protected us. But we were also not an affectionate family either. You know, we showed our love in different ways, just not in an affectionate way, whether it was like physical or with words. But I think I needed my mom, but I didn't know how to tell her that either, even as an adult. So when she passed away, I was resentful in certain areas because I wanted my mom. And I tried to get her in those 2 weeks, but I couldn't. So that part for me was hard. And then with my dad, it was hard because my dad and his mental state was not okay. And these are things that people do not know, the pain that we go through, the things that we went through, and we did not share because we were taught not to share these things, because we had to be strong. People had to look at us like people of strength, people that can go through anything, but they didn't know what we were going through. So for me, then it was hard for my dad because I felt like I was daddy's girl, but when it came to him passing, he didn't want us near him. But it was because my dad's mental health wasn't okay. And I don't hold that against him because he was where he was at, you know? But again, when it came to my parents, I had to forgive myself and also forgive them because that's the way I felt about the situation. When it comes to the church, again, this is another side of a story that a lot of people don't know. My ex-husband and I took over the church at that time. And there was a lot of things that happened after that too. So I don't feel like I need forgiveness from the church, not the building, but the people in the church. It is what it is at this point in my life. I don't hold any grudge. I don't hold anything towards any people from where I came from. But at a certain time, I felt a certain way about it because, again, I felt like my parents sacrificed their life for the people in the church. I felt like we sacrificed our life also, even as sisters, and we didn't get anything back in return. And I'm being very honest. And as other children that are pastors' kids on this platform right now would understand what I'm saying. So again, I love everyone, but I have kept my distance with a purpose. And yes, there's a lot of people that are seeing me here now. I'm 47, I'm alive, I'm blessed, I'm highly favored. God has protected me, has protected my children, and he continues to bless us. It ain't the way people want to see it, but it's the way God wants to see it. And I'm okay with that. So again, forgiveness a lot of times starts with us, and that's what I've taught my children. And sometimes they're like, Mommy, but how? Like, why are you not mad? Or why you didn't do this? Or why didn't you take this action with this person? No, because at the end of the day, it's not about that person. It's about you and yourself and your heart and what God has put in your heart. So forgiveness, I guess, kind of comes easier for us because we were taught to forgive also. It's sometimes something that you have to teach your children or teach those around you. And we were taught that.
And it delivers us. It delivers us to be better. It delivers us to be happy.
Yes.
Forgiveness is important.
All right, so we had answered those. So we're gonna kind of like have our last question, and then if anybody wants to like
answer some questions if anyone has.
Yeah, does anybody have any questions for us? If the rest want to get those out, we can. We've answered pretty much a lot of the questions that people were asking us, like on the side. People were sending us questions via Instagram and stuff like that. And so I wrote them down, and these were some of the questions. Sarah says she has a question.
So I wanted to know if you guys can share what do you guys say to mothers that before we continue, we shout out to Priscilla. Priscilla graduated.
Yes, she graduated.
So that is to be honored and to be happy and proud of.
Absolutely.
But to kind of like bring into your own perspective of words of what words you can give out to mothers and women out there that are listening to us.
You can go first.
In general,
as a mom,
anything.
You know, I think that being a mom is a blessing, right? Not everyone chooses to be a mom or can be a mom, but I think it's a blessing to birth children. I have one, she's 5. Um, I would not do it again. Not because, thank you, Neva. Not because she, anything with birth or labor, anything like that. I had a beautiful birth, beautiful labor, no complications. It's just like I waited later in my life to have her. I had her at 36. So my energy's not there. Kids are expensive. And so I think that I want to be able to give her everything that I didn't get. And I got a lot. So I want to be able to do that. And I don't know if I could do that with multiple children. So I'm just putting all my energy, all my finances, everything, and all my hopes and prayers on that one child to see what happens. God is leading the way. But I think I've said this before, motherhood doesn't come with a manual. And I think I've said this to our group of friends that one is a new mom, the other one had a child after like 15 years, right? So I think it's like all over for her again. And so I've told them like that before, like this doesn't come with a manual. We do the best we can. And at this point, the people that believe in the Lord, we put it in God's hands, right? So I just pray upon her. I pray and I rebuke any plan from the devil. Because I think that as we are doing God's work, the devil is coming for our family. So constantly in prayer for her, my husband, my family, my nieces, my nephew, like I said, they're like my kids. So I'm constantly praying that whatever chain the devil has put around our family, our children, that God breaks it. So motherhood is a blessing. I wouldn't do it again, but doing it now has been a blessing. It has taught me a lot too, to be real with my baby. Like, you guys can tell by my personality that I am very like stern, but with her, I've learned to like be softer and also learn when I do something wrong to go back and apologize because she deserves that. So I think that if you're a mom and you're struggling, like just rely on the Lord, rely on your village. You need to keep yourself sane. I think that self-care and self-love is very important because what you think about yourself and how you feel about yourself is what you're giving out. And so if your child sees you mad and sad and upset and always struggling, you're projecting that on them. And so I think that giving yourself grace, and being okay with making mistakes and doing it again and trying again is really important. So blessings and prayers to all the moms. I know it's hard in every stage of your child's life. Like infancy is one stage and one struggle and one type of worry. When they get to toddler is a whole nother one. And then when they get to teenagers and adulthood is a whole different, it's like every time is a different type of level, right? Another level of like worrisome or like just challenges that come with that. So just prayers to all the moms. You guys are doing a great job.
I want to say everybody hi. Say hi to everybody that's on the chat. You guys can send a question if you like, specific questions. Just a lots of love. I think somebody asked if we're doing this again. Yeah. She's doing it again. She don't know it, but she's doing it again. But okay, she spoke to the moms. I'm gonna speak to the woman, to the female. That female that's a mom, that's a single mom, that's a mom that's married, that's a mom or that has no children, one that has decided not to have children, one that decided that my career or whatever I'm going to do in Christ is going to take the lead, whatever. Make yourself a priority. A lot of times, and I think also in our culture, not only our religion, in the religious, if you look at it in a religious way, but also our culture has taught us that we have to take care of everything and everyone, everything, and we are last. I'm telling you right now, you're not last. Make yourself a priority, because you make yourself a priority, you will take care of your family even better. You give your family, your friends, everybody in your life, you're going to give a better person of yourself if you take care of yourself. When you wait to do that later in life, because a lot of people are like, oh no, I'm going to wait for my kids to get older. Oh no, I'm going to wait until I'm this stage in life no, we need to learn that it's okay to do it side by side to everything else. It's hard, but you have to do it, because you will lose your sanity if you do not do that. So we need to be and take care of ourselves, because we will be better for those that we love and we want to take care of. Also, just even therapy. I'm talking to myself. Yeah. We really need to take care of our mental health. As Christians, a lot of time we put that aside because we say we're going to pray, we're going to fast. That is all good. That's all great. I believe in God. Everything for me, before anything else comes from God. But we also are humans. And God also has given people understanding so they can deal with humans like us. So don't keep on thinking about what people say, oh, that you're Christian, you're not supposed to do that. Listen, if you need to better yourself, you need to do what you need to do to better yourself. And if that is what it is, therapy, then go for that. But also, if you have a partner, if you have a spouse, or you're in a relationship, you're getting to know somebody, have those difficult conversations. At 47, I'm still trying to avoid those difficult conversations. And it's not doing any better for me. So as family, as women, we need to take care of ourselves. And that is okay. Do not feel guilty. Do not feel like you don't deserve it. You deserve that, and you deserve everything more. So keep doing what you're doing. It isn't easy. And sometimes it won't get easier. But I know that I have God. I know I have a village. I know I have family. I know I have my sisters that I can count on. I have a partner in life that is also supporting me. I have my children that I think a lot of times we not taking care of ourselves hurt our children, because especially as they get older, they are seeing that. So now they're going to also do the same thing. My kids, I tell them, listen, the negative things you guys learned from me, I'm trying to teach you not to fix it, so you don't repeat the same errors that I've done. So if we have children, let's be that model for our children, not only in certain ways. Let's be that model. Moms, women, let's be our model, those models in every way. Okay. I love you guys. I'm blessed to be here today, and just keep on doing what y'all need to do, moms. We're looking to see if there's any questions in the comments.
I do definitely want to say also, I want to shout out the dads.
Mm-hmm.
I did see somebody made a comment regarding having older children, and them still struggling with their older children. So we'll talk about that a little bit. However, I do want to shout out the men. There's a lot of men that are either single dads, or they're active in their children's life. The same thing goes for you. If you're not taking care of yourself, you're not going to be the best version of yourself for your spouse or your children. I think there's nothing wrong. We're all human. There's not a guidebook to be the best parent. Every child is different. Every parent is different. How we handle, how we discipline, everything is different. However, I say that if you know that something is awry, you can always go back and have that conversation, and you can apologize. Us apologizing as adults, as parents, is not us saying we don't have authority, we're not your parents, we should not be honored, but it shows them our humanity. Yeah. And it shows our vulnerability, so then they can become a better human. To this day, I'll see a commercial and my kids laugh at me. Everybody laugh at me. I'll be seeing a commercial, it touches my heart, and then, or I see something, and then I'm like, oh my God, I think I did something similar back to my kids. Mm-hmm. I'll be texting my kids in a heartbeat, and my kids are 30, 28, and 26. And I'll be texting them, I'm so sorry. Did I ever do this to you? And I have a great dynamic with them, so I already know, like, my oldest is like, Mom, you don't have to worry, you will never do anything wrong. And then I have my middle son, he's like, are you fishing for a compliment? And then my daughter is like, you did the best you could. You know what I'm saying? But we've gotten to a place where they know that genuinely in my heart, I'm asking for forgiveness, because it actually, I'm like, oh my God, if I did that to my child, even unknowingly, because of immaturity or because of the decision that I made or something like that, I can own up to knowing that I still can learn from my mistakes, and that I want you to know that, one, I acknowledge it in case, and sometimes it's even open a new communication with the kids about that, right? So I think that we just want to honor the dads out there as well. Shout out to our brother-in-law, we love you. Sammy, Bernard, we love you. Pops, we love you. You know,
Keith, our brother Keith.
some great men in our lives as
Yes.
well. And so we are so grateful for that, that they also see how strong we are, who we are as individual, as women, whether it's us giving to people, our servant heart and stuff like that. And we know that they are our soft landing. So we're very grateful for them. So we definitely want to shout out to them. And so you guys
We
want to
have,
take over?
there's two questions. There's two questions on the chat so far. So Neva was the first one. I knew somebody was gonna ask this, and I'm not answering. It says, when are we ever gonna sing again together?
I don't know if we are, but we probably will. Like, we didn't think we were gonna be here today. We probably will then. Never say never.
You guys, do you guys have an answer for that?
Yeah. No. You never know. You never know about singing. Well, I don't know about
our voices are not the same, and we haven't put them in practice for a long time. So we'll see about that
anymore. So it's like I would think mainly for us, it would have to be something that God tells us directly, because He's gonna have to start with Priscilla. Yeah, God is gonna have to tell Priscilla, and when Priscilla tells us, we'll be like, I guess Jesus spoke. Because we know for sure that God says something.
Okay, second question. This one's from Genesis,
My daughter.
our niece. She said, what have your beautiful, gorgeous children taught us? She said, Titi big grad. Oh, in other words, my graduation. So she's just saying, congratulations.
So I can, my children have taught me resilience. I think one of the hardest things for my kids, besides my parents not having them around, has been the divorce. And my children has shown me resilience. Luisito has been living in Florida for more than 10 years. And I know it has not been easy for him in different ways. Thank God he's doing fine. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with him. But just growing up, just being an adult, you know, and not having your parents there with you all the time and stuff like that, because things happen in life. But they each show me resilience. Tito, Tati shows me resilience. And again, Priscilla, I feel like through that part of the divorce, they've shown me how resilient and how much love they have in their heart, how forgiving they are. So they've taught me that it is all worth it. At the end of the day, it is all worth it, because I know that my children are looking at me. I know that my children care about me. I know that my children are looking for my happiness also. So I think that they've taught me resilience and to push. And because I see them pushing through all the stuff they've gone through, I've had conversations. Again, I also have a great dynamic with my kids. We have very good conversations. Again, I'm not going to say they're perfect. I'm not going to say they tell me everything, because no kid tells their parents everything. But I also know that they love each other, all three of them, and they can confide in each other. So I feel that I feel security in that. But yes, my children have taught me, like Genesis, while she's becoming an adult, like on her own, being home alone and going through depression, and how she's pushed through that, and how she's been an example to other people around her. And you know, Luisito doing what he does with social media. He has had moments that he has been stuck, and there's been a block, and he showed me how he pushes through, and he tells me, Mommy, I'm doing this because it's my mental health. I need some time off. I didn't understand it then, but I understand it now. So them being resilient, what they do and how they live their life, little Priscilla going to college and moving the way she does in life. show me resilience. So that is what my children have taught me, resilience.
For me, Millie has taught me. If many don't know, my daughter's name is named after my mom. Her name is Millie Nez, but we call her Millie. So she has taught me patience because I have very little of it. I have patience with other people because I have them in small moments, right? And I don't have to go to bed with you or in my house with you. I don't live with you 24/7. So I can manage that. But my daughter has taught me patience. She has her dad's energy and her aunt's energy. And her other aunt from her dad's side, character, like she's very moody. So we were just talking about this. I was texting my sister-in-law's name is Celeste. I was just texting her like, yo, she is just like you, up and down. One moment she's crying, the other moment she's laughing. It's like all over the place. But I think the main thing she has shown me and taught me is patience, and true unconditional love. Because although I'm sure I upset her a lot of times, because 80% of the time I'm the bad parent, she always forgives me, and the next day it's like, mommy didn't do no wrong, and mommy, I love you. And so yeah, so patience and forgiveness, she's taught me those two things. Sarai, Lamari?
Sarah. So for me, my son has taught me to be strong, to be a boy's mom. He's taking that toughness out of me. So because we can be here at home and he wants me to throw the football from one side to the living room to the hallway for 15, half an hour, right? Let him keep going. So I think he's taking out the toughness and that side of me, of that boy side, kind of like that side of roughness. But also patience, I think like you were saying earlier, every child goes through a different stage in every, when they're infants to toddlers and then almost teenage years. So it now is the talk back and I'm a little man now, so it's kind of like it's always a challenge, but at the end of the day, I think you have great communication with your children, and you, like you also said, when you sometimes have to ask for forgiveness, because sometimes we don't always say the right things and at the moment maybe of being under getting upset or something like that. So at the end of the day, I think he has taught me patience, and also taking out that roughness out of me, and obviously, giving him a lot of love. But yeah, every day I think that with your kids, they teach you something every day. I learn a definition from him. Every day I learn something different. So that's a blessing. And I love being a mom.
The first thing, and I'm probably going to be the prior today. I think the first thing my kids taught me, like you guys said, that unconditional love. It's like that type of love that breaks everything. Like all your walls and all your stuff and everything like that, it just breaks it. They've also given me a lot of strength because they became the focus of what I was going to fight against. Right. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I want my sons to be exposed to becoming great men. I don't want them to make certain mistakes. In our right, family dynamics in our generation, there's been addictions, there's been, gang banging, there's been stuff like that. Then on his father's side, there was other challenges, you know what I'm saying? And so to me, my focus with my sons were, I don't want them to ever turn to that. So I'm going to do everything in my power, whether it's praying, whether it's having those honest conversations since they were young. At the beginning, when they were younger, it was a little harder just because there was a lot of trauma that was going on. So I was very guarded even with my children because I always thought that they were going to disappear again. But after they grew up and they were more like early teens and I knew that we're there and I was not going to lose them, it just gave me this thing that I was like, I'm gonna give them everything that I am to them. Now, in retrospect, I've always taught them to be very independent, go for what you want, do what you want to do, all of these things. But then when they started doing it, then I was like, oh, they're gonna leave me behind. But they have been so gracious now that they're men, you know, grown men. One is married, you know, and my daughter, and they've shown me so much grace. And because they've shown me grace, I'm able to give that forward because I know what that feels like. I know that a little bit of grace will cover so many multitudes of other feelings, right? Just, you don't have to agree with me, but I understand where you're coming from, you know. Always, even though I was very tough and I was a very radical parent though. I was like, I would punish them and take stuff away from them. They never saw it again. Like I didn't have a lot of time to like figure it out. I had 3 children and I don't got time to play with you. So I could be rough around the edges sometimes, but they always love me. And sometimes when I talk to them, I feel bad about them, but they're like, you did what you could. And now we're the people that we are. We are strong. We are independent. We know God. I saw someone note something about the child being, you know, they had their child when they were younger. They're still struggling with their 23-year-old. I want to tell you something. I am living proof of what the Bible says, that if you instruct your children in the word of God and you pray for them, they will come back. And even though my kids were never in the streets doing bad things or anything like that, still their soul was in the balance.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Their soul was still in the balance. And so sometimes I would look back and I was like, man, I made this mistake, or I wasn't in church enough, or I stepped away from church, or I didn't teach them about God more, or all of these things. And now I feel like I'm doing catch up, right? And I tell my sister, and this is where we were talking the last part about doing crazy prayers, because I'm like, God, I need you to protect my kids. I need you to do all these things. But I'm reminded that we were given these children to instruct, but they're ultimately God's child, and he doesn't want nothing bad to happen to them. So we have to just continue to do our part and pray on them, speak life into them. We're not going to agree with everything they say or do, the lifestyle that they have. They're not. But already the world is beating them up. We're supposed to be their safe haven. We're supposed to be the people that, you know what, I don't agree with what you're saying, but regardless of that, I love you unconditionally. And I know a God that made you, that loves you. You know what I'm saying? That knows you better than I know you. And so to me, I'm living now in the overflow, right? Because my nieces got baptized a few weeks ago. My son got baptized today. They found their way to God. Right, where I'm over here like, God, please save my children, please. I want them to have an encounter. God is going to give them that encounter in their own way, in their own timing, because they're different from us. They're not going to receive it or see it the way we're going to. So I want to encourage the parent that is struggling with kids that are older, because my son, like, really gave his life to Christ about 2 months ago. Like, he's always known God, but he had his traumas around church. He had his traumas around that stuff. So for him to have that personal relationship, it's only been a couple of months. And then today he got baptized, and something that I've been praying fiercely for, right? So to me, when I hear my nieces get baptized and I hear my son gets baptized, my heart rejoices, because this is what my parents fought for. You know what I'm saying? Even if whether they did it the right way or the wrong way, but this is what our parents prayed for. This is what they fought for. This is what they wanted for us. And they can't see this, but we are receiving the of God's promise. And God's promise, his word doesn't go back. His word does not go back. So it may not be in our time. It may not be how we think it's going to happen and how it's going to happen. But if you believe and you pray that it will happen, it will happen.
It will happen.
And so I just want to encourage you that even though sometimes it may be difficult and you don't think you're getting to your child, this is what I've done at times. I've prayed, I'm like, God, they're not listening to me, but I know you're going to bring the right person that they're going to listen to. and they're gonna say the same thing I'm saying, but all of a sudden it's a new revelation for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so at the end of the day, that's what had to happen. You know, and so
It's
praise
it's
the
a
Lord.
it's a word that sticks to them. My son the other day was like, he was on, like he couldn't sleep very well, and then he's kind of been like a little bit all over the place. And he's like, Mom, I think that I need to pray more.
Yeah.
Because he knows when he's not his normal self, something's not right. And the prayer is gonna bring him back. So that's something is that you install in them and they will remember when those moments comes. And he's only 11. So at this age, if he can recognize when he is not being himself, he's like, I don't know why I'm thinking like this. I don't know why I can't sleep. Pray. And he does it himself. So at the end of the day, don't give up on your children. That word sticks and it will never go away.
I believe we have a couple more questions, but I just wanted to say with what with I'm thinking about children, and we work in education. We've been working for a couple of years, and we have it. Again, I look at all the children like they're mine. And that's why I when I approach them, I'm gonna love them, I'm gonna forgive them, I'm gonna accept them. So I have all these, I'm just so open because I'm looking at them like they're my kids. So I'm not gonna get offended quickly. I'm not gonna take what they say or what they do offensively. You know, so one of the things that we in what we do in education and our career, we've come across a lot of kids that need love. And whether it's you hold yourself accountable, say sorry if you did something wrong to them. I had an incident with a student that I accused them of screaming and being loud or whatever in a classroom. And then he said, Miss, but I wasn't screaming. I was like, but I seen you were screaming because I definitely thought I saw him screaming. The day passed, the next day I said sorry to him, and he came back after lunch and he said thank you for saying sorry to him because people usually don't say sorry back to him. So I didn't think nothing of it because that's what I usually would do. But when you hear our children, and I'm not talking to our physical children only, Sarah, your son is getting older, so he's gonna have friends come over and he's gonna be around other kids, and what you have taught him, he's gonna teach to other children. And the same way that I know Damaris's children and my children have done that with other children. So I know God is also going to put these kids in our lives, Sarai, Damari, whether it's other people's kids or whatever it is, with that purpose so we can show them that also. And it's just not our kids, it's also other people's kids too.
All right, so I think we can answer these two questions together. Karen Ruiz, hi Karen. It says, if you could ask your own parents now for parenting advice, what would that question be? And then the second one was by Bernard, my husband. What is your favorite memory of your parents?
Okay, I'll go first. Because it's fresh in my head. I think my favorite memory of my parents is just when we would be doing like our family stuff. My dad wasn't, again, my parents weren't affectionate, but they showed their love in different ways. And my dad was like going out to eat, giving us money. Here, $100, go to the mall. $100 at that time was a lot. Like stuff like that. My dad loved eating, like taking us out to nice restaurants. Like, again, like my dad probably wasn't the perfect person, but he did what he could with what he had. And to us, he did great. And that's why the same way, like, I don't like if I am with someone with a male, I have a certain expectation because my dad taught us that we should be treated a certain way. So my dad also treated my mom like a queen. You know, they weren't perfect. They had their moments. Their marriage went through very difficult times. But he still loved her and treated her as a queen. So I think those times, seeing my parents being in love, seeing us being out as a family, just doing things that had nothing to do with the ministry, were very special also to me.
If you could ask for an advice, a parenting advice, what would you ask them?
I don't know. Keep going. Because I don't know what.
I don't really think I would ask them for an advice because how they treated us as children, I'm trying to do the same. And so maybe when my daughter gets a little older, to kind of deal with, I'm a little controlling. So I'm just trying to deal, like, how to, like, But it was different because I think that when we were brought up, we were very sheltered and we were very, like, we were in a bubble because of the ministry, and we were all girls. So he was like, oh, y'all can't do this, that, and whatever. So I think that it's more like asking for strength, right? Like, I don't think I need to ask for advice, but just like, give me strength, God. Parents, please, the strength that y'all had, please give it to me, because although y'all had 4, y'all could have had more because my mom had some losses, but my daughter gives for a lot, and I think it's more because of my energy. I have really low energy, so for her, for me, other people are like, oh, that's normal. Like, she's not doing anything. I'm sure my friends that have boys will say that Millie's a saint, and her energy's like, it's normal. But for me, it's a lot because, again, I had her later, so it's like I'm trying to play catch up with her. So maybe just asking for strength. And a favorite memory, I think traveling with my family was like big for me. Going to restaurants with my dad, we have the same sentiments. We are foodies, so I love experimenting and exploring new foods. Traveling, I think that they installed that in us. Like, I love to travel because of them. My mom, one of my favorite memories of my mom is at an older age. I was already in my 20s. I was the only one left at home. Everybody had moved away, with their own families. I was the only one there, and my mom would still come to my bed and lay and take a nap in my bed. So
So for me, my dad, I was the other day thinking, I was like, man, I wish I can go fishing with my dad.
I was gonna say fishing.
There's so many things that I go with Rebecca hand in hand in regards to all the family things that we would do and stuff like that. But I was thinking about fishing. I was like, I have to take Junior fishing because I miss fishing. I haven't fished in a long time. I think it was the last time with my dad. So I think those were the little things that we would do that me and Rebecca normally would go, and we all go. Me and Rebecca would always go with him. That's one thing definitely that I miss. My mom is the same thing what Priscilla said. It was just, mom, just lay my head on her lap and clean my ears. So I keep caressing my ear. That's just the way I miss that. And sometimes when the money comes over, like if I had a sciatic trainer. No, she doesn't clean my I'm old enough to do this. But I would look for any chance for my mom to just be like just salame. So yeah. But even the money when I had a sciatic pain not long ago, she was like massaging me and she's done it a few times. So I think I missed that from my mom. Advice, there's always things that I would love to have my mom and my dad input. The only thing is that I would have liked to have my father's also, because when it comes to business and like brainstorming and just the artistic thing of things and people is, I think I would bounce very well with him when it came to conversations like that of creating. So I definitely missed that for my dad. Then the last thing I was gonna say, what was it? The advice part. The advice, I think that I would have a lot of questions for my parents in different things. But I think that I've been so blessed that I have my sisters. So I've been able, like, I don't feel, there's things that your parents would tell you or the comfort that you would feel from a parent that maybe your sisters can't give you. But at the end of the day, I think that I enjoyed them so much while they were here and I valued them so much. I wasn't perfect, but at the end of the day, I valued them and I loved them so much that I don't feel like, I didn't do something that I wasn't supposed, that was left that I didn't do. You know what I mean? As a daughter. So for me, when I need advice, like just asking my sisters is a comfort for me. So yeah, that's it.
Advice. My personality is a very good mixture of both my parents. I'm extremely strong like my mom. However, I'm very charismatic like my dad. But one one thing that I've recognized now, when you're healed and you do the work and you look back, you realize certain things. My dad had a very tenacious, very charismatic personality. You know, he can jive with whoever, talk to whoever. And I think the more I've been healed, the more I'm able to do that freely and not just be a front. Because I was very used to that being my personality, being very strong in my personality, very jokey, very in your face, laughing, charismatic. But a lot of the times that kind of covered what was really going inside. And so I think now that I'm healed, I'm genuinely that person. I'm genuinely involved with the people and stuff like that. With my mom, I would ask her, how on earth are you meek? How did you become meek? I learned what meek was. Meek is somebody that is soft-spoken and gentle, but strong and powerful. And I am strong and powerful. I'm just not meek. And so that's what I strive for. On this second part of my life, I want to have a certain level of softness. I think that in certain circles, I can walk into a room and I am more quieter and stuff like that, but it still comes across that I'm very strong. So I think that would be the advice. It's really how to be better at that, because not my strong suit at all. I'm just there, and I'm gonna be in your face. If I choose to do so, I'm either that or I'm all the way out of the picture. And so just finding the balance of that and of doing that. When it comes to advice, what else? What was the second question?
What one of your favorite memories of them?
Oh, favorite memory. Definitely the food. To this day, when we go to Boston, we always try to go to his favorite places and stuff like that. So food is one. My dad, like we said, he wasn't much of an affectionate person, but he knew what you liked. And so he went that route. And so he would always give us presents. And his sorry to me was always giving me something that I liked. And so I was like, oh,
shoes,
shoes. He dressed us all the time. Like he would go shopping. Yeah, and he would just bring us all. And I think that if I were to like really think about it now, that's part of something that I'm looking for in someone. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that's going to treat you well, right? People talk about princess treatment and stuff like that, but I think being treated well and being considered is something that our dad did with us. So that would be a good memory that I have with dad. When dad laughed and we had a good time, when we were gonna have a good time. I think that when I was younger, because I left at 20, but when I was able to reconnect with the family towards the end, when my parents, a few years before my parents passed away, that relationship, I loved it because I would go and they didn't see me as their kid anymore. I was their kid, but I was more like an adult friend to them. So now they were able to tell me things that they probably never told me before, but as an adult, because they knew that I can sit there and he's like, oh, I'm thinking this and this, and what you think about that? And I don't know, this upset me, this and that. And I would be able to have a candid conversation with him. So I wish I had more of that. The best memories that I have is when my kids were younger and they would come and travel and spend time with the kids, and my kids were able to make those memories with them. So I think that is what my kids to this day remember. Faith remembers going to Dunkin' Donuts and getting a bagel and getting coffee. You know what I'm saying? And that was her favorite memory. You know what I'm saying? So to me, those are the memories that have lasted for us. Any other questions?
We're gonna take one more because it's getting late. We've been on here for an hour and a half, people. That's great. So Genesis, again, my niece, is there any characteristics from your parents you see in your kids?
I'll go first. My dad was a very joyous, happy, smiley person. My mom was the opposite. She was very serious. She was not a friendly person. She was a nice person, but she wasn't out of her way like, oh, how you doing? Like my dad was like, go to people on the elevator. My mom was just the opposite of him. So I feel like all three of my kids have that. They very joyous, They smile a lot. They laugh a lot. They're very giving. Again, both my parents were like that. Give you the whatever they have, they'll give you. They don't, whether they need it or not, they have to give. They'll give to you. So they're very giving people. They're happy, joyful. So those are certain things that they definitely got from my parents. Resilience. That's, again, my parents were both very resilient. Even before they were in a situation with their health, they were very resilient human beings. So they do have really good qualities of my parents.
Millie's very small, and I think she's still learning who she is. But she's usually very serious, unless you can crack a smile, or tell her a joke, or she's already friendly with you, then she's herself. But innately, she's usually very serious, and that is my mom all the time. Like, my mom was like, her initial impression to anyone was like, oh, she's intimidating, or she's so serious, so she looks mad. But once you get to know her, she's a beautiful, kind person. So that she has from my mom. I think she, when she smiles, that is my dad. My dad has a huge smile. Like they said, he always was like very friendly and very like getting along with everyone. But that smile, I think we all have it. So that's when we are together, I feel like that's the only time we look alike, is when we all smile. We have our dad smile. So when she smiles, I think that she reminds me of my dad.
Sarah. Junior, definitely the young, very much like me. I'm like, but it's like my dad. It's like the entrepreneurial thing, being creative, he loves the kitchen. Like my father used to like to cook from time to time, but he loves colognes. He's into colognes. So all the time he's like, Mommy, did your father have this one? Did your father have this one? So he's into colognes collection, I would say. But yeah, I see a lot of things in my son from mom and dad, but mostly from my dad.
Yeah. With mine, my kids they were a little older when they passed away. It was 5, and Jonathan was 10 and 7, and Ezekiel 7. So they were a little older. One of the things that they're very proud is the Aponte smile. You know what I'm saying? Jonathan is like, I look like my granddad. You know what I'm saying? I'm the younger version of my granddad. So I think the fact that they feel a lot of honor in that. Very friendly, very loving, they're super caring. They're very much aware of the women in the family. And so that my dad was very much the same way. He was always making sure that we were always guarded and protected and stuff like that. They carried that. Also, they're more, so I think a lot like that. My son was into the cooking thing, and they're very expressive and very dynamic and charismatic. They make friends with everybody. So they get that a lot from my dad. Those are the boys. However, it's Fefe.
The girls are like my mom.
She has great chemistry, and she's very dynamic in her circles. However, she can be on the serious side. She's a little bit more restrained and more serious. But what I see in her that gravitates me to her now as an adult is how she is about her word with God. And like, she inherited my mom's Bible, and that's like one of her study Bibles. But when I talk to her about things about God and how she sees it and stuff like that, it's almost like talking about with my mom. When my mom used to study the word to teach a class or something like that, and mom would talk about it. So that's when I remember my mom, and I'm like, yep, this is how my mom used to talk about the Bible and the way she views her relationship with the Lord and stuff like that. And so one of the things that when she decided to go into ministry, I was freaking out. And then about a week or two later, God is like, it's not going to be the same. So she has like that preacher, and she preaches like my dad and my mom. She has a good mixture of them too. So I see that reflecting on them. And so that's pretty much it. I think that's going to be the end of the day. I don't know if there's any other questions that we want to answer or any other comments.
I don't see any more questions. I want to thank everybody for staying on. Hopefully we will be back again. But I do want to give some shout outs. My kids, Luisito, Tati, and Priscilla. I love you guys so much. I'm so proud of you guys. Thank you for loving your mom the way she is, with all the good and the bad. Thank you for bringing me back to reality at times, even if I want to stay in La La Land, in Lululand, in Lululand. Thank you for being those people for me. And I want to say shout out my boyfriend, Sammy, love you. I'm trying to think who else. My friends, all my friends, I love you guys. Co-workers, if you guys are on, I love you guys. Thank you for being my village and my community.
Well, my shout out, my daughter, my husband put on that my daughter was watching and she said hi. So, hi, Goldie, I love you. And shout out to my husband, family and friends that are on here, people that we haven't seen or spoken to in a long time. Thank you for supporting us. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for logging on. This will not be the last time, but there'll be some time in between.
In other words, she won't be to be that next podcast session.
We always have a good time for sure. Sarah, your last words?
Yes, no, thank you girls for coming on. I'm sure this is not going to be the last time. So thank you for being receptive to be obedient with us, to come on with us. And thank you all for staying in tune with us. And we will be posting this on YouTube. Yes. So the people that missed it or want to see it again or whatever, it's going to be in YouTube. And thank you so much. We love you guys. We'll be seeing you guys soon.
Yes, we are so grateful for you guys coming on here. Thank you everybody that came and participated. We're so happy. I want to say a shout out to my coworkers in the Philippines. I told them that I would give them a shout out because they're watching from the Philippines. So I am so happy. Thank you so much. I do want to tell people to go ahead and subscribe, share, and like. Let people know what's going on. And we love you guys. We have a lot of things coming up. Thank you so much. Thank you, girls, for coming on.
Love you, girls.
Love you. Always love you. Thank you, guys. God bless, and see you next time on Hope Beyond the Broken.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.